The Lord saw how great man's wickedness on the earth had become, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil all the time. The Lord was grieved that he had made a man on the earth, and his heart was filled with pain. How should I say it? Firstly, I notice it's the necessarily that time good and evil wisdom fruit start to working, right? And it may show the good first, or it may show the evil first, because you don't know. It's a binary, so it start to show something. And I highly doubt it. It's in here is every inclination of the thought was evil, because based upon the all the ancient story, the mythology, all those things, all those great giants or heroes, they not think about it. They're not that weak. Actually, they're pretty good, and for us, okay. But I don't know what's the morale or what's the standard for God. Obviously, for him, he believed those are evils. So in here we have to say God's standard so different. Just we cannot, at least at this moment, I don't understand it yet. But I notice God has weakness. Oh, God is an emotional creature. He's impulsive also. Why? Because he grieved. He regret to make a human being, right? So when you regret of something, you basically you're not thinking well. Your decision not based on foresee, or you're not foresee enough, so you regret. That's basically what regret it is. I regretted did something. I hope I can do something again. I hope not doing something again, because you didn't see the consequence, or you cannot unable to see the consequence, and your preparation is not enough preparation not enough, so you regret right now, and you still need to take the consequence for the creation. So I think that's God is not almighty. No, he's not. He's the only thing from here I saw is he's impulsive, he's emotional, and he has a limitation. He was bonded by the structure, and that's the ways I notice. I keep thinking, what is wicked thing? Because in the Sumerian kings list showed Sumerian before the Great Flood, there are like 7 or 8 kings, 17 I believe, total ruled 280,000 years. Yeah. So every king, some is 30,000 years, some is 28,000 years. It's pretty long. Those people, they could be, those kings, they could be heavens, or could be sons of God, right? And the one could be I think one king is a female. The name is a female. So heaven may sense some kind of rebelling, or some change the management, so they change to a female, try to make a difference, testing the different, make a different directions. The wicked things, I keep thinking, within these thousands of years and no, 100,000 years, what made a God cannot handle anymore? Because it says full of pain, the regret, pain full of his heart. So what made him has to create the big flood. So human killing each other, no, that's normal because God let them do it. They populate and kill, so it's nothing. What's really God want from us, and why they change the management, change a different management, and still like unstop the wicked things. Also, I thought about 228,000 years or 30,000 years. Is that kind of lifespan? What's the lifespan for those aliens, for those sons of a God? Because you need a good time, good strong mind, and physically and the mind strong, right, to manage it. Kind of like you send the manager to manage the earth. So is that possible? Their lifespan is 120,000 years. Sounds like reasonable. Kind of like we work like 20 years, you retire, you live 80 years, right? That's just my guess. Okay. The wicked things, I think it's possible is something totally against the divine, totally question the divine, totally unsatisfied, or totally different than God's, their culture. Because remember, human starts with wisdom fruit. So the wisdom fruit run under the free will, and that has a good and the evil, right? And these are very high or uncontrollable force in the universe. So maybe, I'm talking about maybe, one fruit or one side start to develop more and more. Everybody start to, this kind of feeling, this kind of thoughts, try to like full of the everybody's mind, because the abyss, the earth, is another side, and it's a part of universe. It's under the free will and the good and the evil also. So it has a certain way to manipulate, to influence people's mind. So I think maybe Earth tried or did some kind of things to make a globally people question God, question divine, and totally they even want to be part of God, I think. So they send a different management, try to ease the situation, change the managementship. It doesn't work. That's, I think, the wick things called. It's all kinds of thoughts, against the divine, and they try to overthrow the divine. That's my opinion. What made God feel pain? It's I think at that position, the high position, I think lost forever life, lost the power, and regret why he did it. The consequence will make him pain, because as a God, you don't have much the long, super long life. You experience so much, so nothing really will bother them. But two things will harm them. Foundation. One, don't have power, lost the power. So when they lost power, they lost their long life. The reason is everything is a frequency. So when you chanting, when you reading spell, when you read or praise God's name, Lord's name. Remember at the beginning they said back that time people start to calling God's name, right? So that's very important. The name is very important. So I think back that time, less and less people start to calling his name. Less and less. So his power was reduced. Same, his position in heaven start to shaking. And if keep going, he will lost his, finally he lost power and he lost his position, his forever life. That's not necessarily forever, but heaven is full of a battle also. So it's in the whole universe, strong one take over the weak one. That's the rule. That's the universal rule. So nothing evil, nothing good. Just a strong take weak. But for God, when all the giants all over the earth and all those giants, because of they call themselves sons of God, actually they from all kinds of like heavens parties, some from liberal, some from Democrat, some from Republican, I guess. Yeah, just so he's like he's isolated. So that made him like a kind of lost control. So even heaven send seven or eight kings, try to balance everything, try to give all the benefit to every parties, but overall culture is the body, the strength, the giants, those culture. They don't want to spiritually, or they totally off the rail. So that's called wicked. Yeah, when it say all, God like see all people think about the wicked ways. I think it's not all people. It's just a majority or very large portion. Because if it is all, that means Noah and his family, right? It's not good. They think about bad things. And when God pick up some wicked one to do the ark, it's very ridiculous. So it has to be someone not following the globally culture. And what's the globally culture is one, I believe, is magic and science, just like Atlantis culture. And they start to develop ocean, keep going deeper to the ocean. That's culture, but they still cannot completely stay in the water. I think they still rely on the oxygen, rely on the air, the ground. And another is magic or physical strength and the willing power, the magic power. That's the stone, for example, like a pyramid or Aztec, like those kind of giant stone culture, and maybe the British, there is a big stone maze. Those are cultures. So, but none of the culture favor God's power. They actually favor some belong not belong to God, they favor something more other parties. That's what I think. And that made God angry. Also, when we say, oh, it's kind of, for God is like the proportion should be like when reach the margin of an arrow. And I think that reflects in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. When God destroyed these two cities, Rod used to ask him, oh, well, how many people you will not do at 50? Yeah, I won't. What about 10? I won't. What about the 5? Yeah, I might. So those things like reflects the quantified measurement for God. So based on the number, I think I will try to figure out how many people in Sodom or Gomorrah cities, because that's I'm gonna use the margin of the arrow as a number. Maybe figure out, yeah, reversely we can figure out. Okay, and another thing is when we try to think about when God saw people's thinking, what are they thinking? One thing you can say it's just grammatically it's a way of describe things or metaphor or some, but I believe God able to see. The reason is right now, like our brainwave, right? Our brainwave through Elon Musk, his machine, we can translate the brainwave into certain words, certain pictures. And what if for God, all our brainwave is just very unique? So different frequency, and he can see, he able to see. Or there is some big like a collector, it can translate all our thoughts. So that's what I think. From that time, maybe the technology or maybe the way of a God, he is the willing power. He largely uses willing power, so it's nothing difficult for him to sense, to see people's thought. I think the battle between God and the heavens, it's not only God and heavens. Actually, the abyss, the earth, joined that battle also. I still believe earth is a creature with a willing power, and earth sensed the battle. Earth joined one party, not necessarily joined one party, but Earth just like help boosted one party's strength. So that's the reason when they have giants. Also, giants needs what? Giants needs a lot of food, a lot of resources. And back that time, we don't have big farming. We don't have very lot of rice. The food, the resources are not that popular as right now, right? So also people live 900 years, so they need a lot of resources. So that time, Earth generates a lot of resource, a lot of food to supply these kind of giants and the peoples to help that culture. So that's also another reason God started a global flood, because he wants to kind of erase those joint points, those important place Earth used to against him. And we can trace all those like Asian location, for example, Atlantis in the center of Sahara Desert, and U.S. a lot of Indian people, white sand desert, right? White sand they use to guiding the uranium. And they knew there was a demon under it, and that they were guiding it. But right now, just release it. And Maya and pyramid, Egypt poor, right? And China, there is another couple place. For example, I think it's 300,000 or 3 million slaves will die, and that's the capital city. They have the big battle right that place right now. It's just poor. Also, some king or some very famous people, they grow, right? They grown up their hometown poor. Let's think about it. Napoleon in Sicily Island, rich? No one says Sicily Island is rich. You can see like another rich people, famous people, Washington or Lincoln, whatever. All those famous people, their hometown, none of it are very industrially or economically good. Why? Because it's a kind of a bond that try to limit the land can generate. So when you generate a very strong mind or very strong genius or influential people, and the land became poor for many years. And so that's I gradually understand kind of like New York, rich, but you know what? It's full of a battle, full of dirty, full of a thing, full of happy. But you know what? No great people can born in this city. Like San Francisco, same thing. It's getting messy, and non-great people can born in there, and because it's so rich, so they need a balance. They wanted this place getting like a rotten, get balanced. And Tokyo so crowded. I went there, and a lot of sinful things full of it, but no great people was born there. So same thing. Beijing, it's very crowded and dirty and a stink city, really stinky city. Nothing good, really good. Paris, same thing. So I think that's I blurry I see the picture, kind of those Asian location, the modern location, but I can't make any conclusion. I just like see that's from that kind of view. Now I start to think regret. Regret, we need to identify what is really behind the regret. Whether God regret the target or the method, or regret the involvement. So what really regret? Because when he made earth, made human being, if, as the Bible said, he's a sink after days of sink, right? It's a mature product. But right here, when you regret, that means one is it's not mature, or not mature, even not mature enough, so you regret. Or when you make a mature product, how could you just like you question your capability, question your power? Also, another thing is when you regret, you lost control, right? because you didn't manage it well. The whole thing you didn't follow up. So the whole direction goes towards somewhere you're uncontrollable and it's so bad, and that made you regret. And why? How could you lost control for that part? It's a heaven's battle or something. So that regret reflects a lot of things. When God say he's full of pain, because well, Bible is God's breath, right? He say he's regret and full of pain. Pain is the signal exceed your nerve cannot handle it. Your nerve cells start to like release those kind of signal, exceeded the high peak. So you feel pain, full of a pain, which means at this point, this project, the Earth project, or the daily things will make God exceed his tolerant level. So that's called pain. Otherwise, some pain called itching, some pain called sweet, some pain called spicy. That's all you can handle. And we do need a pain to sense. But this kind of pain, in your heart full of pain, it bothers your daily activity. So it's kind of like chewing you. Chewing made you regret every moment. So you have to get it rid of. But how you gonna get it rid of? That's the issue. I'm quite not understand what kind of great evil made a God so angry. Ancient time, before Great Flood, how much the evil has developed? Because right now, okay, do you think those barbarian, those cavemen, they will develop much more evil or wicked things than us? I highly doubt it. We had a more killing, we had a more wrong worship, we had a bunch of wicked and evil things, much more than ancient time. So what if before Great Flood there are like 300,000 years? Right now modern civilization only like a couple thousand years, right? So they must develop some very dramatic, I don't know, some magic things. Nobody know what it is. But consider all those big fish, big birds, big mark on the land, those unexplainable things. I would think it's possible, but what's the great evil? I still try to figure out. At the ancient time, their very popular habit is it's buried with alive. So, but for those slaves, most of our slaves, they have no personal properties. Just it's everything. All the son of gods or king have it. So they just survive. So they just live, die. That's it. Basically, that's their life. So what's greatest evil? Like a kid buried or without anything against it? I don't know.